Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hail Ming Power Hour Special Edition. I guess we can say that. Also, special guest.
And also special guest.
So, not only am I Rick and I'm here, we're going to talk about some awesome stuff, but we also got Danny Bennett as well. What's up, my brother?
Here I am. Yeah, I'm here and I'm ready to talk.
You ready
That's
to
what I'm gonna
talk? All right. Well, I'm ready to listen. So, and also the also special guest, names on the marquee. We got the one and only beef bearded one himself, Gary. Here, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm glad to be here and happy Halloween, all that stuff, and spooky seasons and all that stuff, you know.
All that stuff.
All things and stuff, spooky.
Yeah. So we decided to get together and talk about this one. And we are going to talk about Werewolf by Night, which is on the Disney Channel, of all things. It is a Marvel production. And actually, Danny told me about this last week when we got together to start talking about this. And wow, this is going to be a fun one, guys. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm excited to talk about this one. What do y'all think?
I was surprised. Like I didn't avoid it, but I knew it was there for a while. And then one day I just sat down and I said, I'll give this a shot. Some people had said good things about it, and that helped.
Yeah.
But I was kind of blown away. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Either one of you like read the comic back in the day or anything like that? No.
I knew the horror stuff existed. I never read any of it though, because I wasn't around in the 70s to check this stuff out. So
and that's the thing, is I think the only negatives that I've heard is coming from people that actually, I guess, love the comic and followed the storyline and all that. And of course, you know how this is. This is an hour-long show. Not the podcast, but the actual movie that we're talking about is only an hour long. This could go an hour. Who knows? It is in the name of the show.
It's more an idea.
It's an idea. It's a concept. But that's the only thing I've heard negative is coming from people that grew up with the stuff, and you're trying to cram a lot of information into one nugget of a show. And you like that nugget?
Yeah, and well, I just want to say thanks for adjusting so we can see Howard the Duck back there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the focus though, right?
I don't know. That could be the next special presentation.
I would be down for that for sure. You know.
Yep, Gary's a big fan, no doubt about it. So, but yeah, man, let's bust this one open, man. Let's get into Werewolf by Night. It's everything we like at Hail Ming. It really is. It sets up like tons of movies that we always talk about that we admire, and it just falls in that category of it's a Hail Ming. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's a Hail Ming classic. I'm jumping the gun.
Whatever that means, yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean anything.
It's a Hail Ming classic.
So, the thing is, being shot in black and white, you even get the cigarette burns, like the changing of the reels.
Yeah.
All these nice touches to really refer back to, Lon Chaney Jr., Wolfman. You guys get the same feel from that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, like the use of shadows and black and white, and it's like, of course, exponentially, more vibrant than it would be a 1940s, 30s black and white movie. But
oh, sure,
that's because it's new tech and new cameras, and yeah, it's got that feel for sure.
Yeah. So,
and it benefits from having production value. Again, you get a crisper image, even though they tried to give it some, like you said, the cigarette burns and the throwbacks to the old cinema, but they also had crystal clear images, that they had great fight choreography, stuff that you don't really even consider anymore, because there's so much money pumped into these cinematic offerings that they just didn't have back when they were making those Universal monster movies.
So how about just the whole general opening of this thing, right? He's walking into the room. You get this backstory of these hunters fighting evil, and they're gathering around the world's greatest monster killers into this one area where there happens to be the guy that owns the Bloodstone. So if you're in the Marvel universe, you kind of know where we're heading with that. But man, I mean, what a setup. All these characters. Who's your favorite character besides our main character, you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the Harriet Sansom Harris, I looked her name up. I knew her from Frasier, where she played BB, but the widow,
Yeah.
she steals the show. She's so over the top. And I mean, I guess you're probably asking which hunter. I mean, there's Steven Tyler and White there. I mean, I didn't expect to see him there, but he was. I love that. You know me, so I love the whole the tournament setup where it's like we're gonna have a contest and we have all these specialists and they don't explain who they are, and they just show up in this in the lodge. What a great place too.
It's awesome. It's funny you brought up the character because when we were watching me and Becky's like, "Uh-oh, David Bowie's in trouble." What say you, Gary? Who do you kind of like in this bunch?
Well, the bearded guy ain't bad, but you kind of knew he was the least agile of the bunch. That he was gonna get dropped early. But I love the whole feel of the lodge aspect too. It's kind of like, hey, you're going to your dad's Elks Club. You might see a head on the wall. Now these heads are like monster heads that they've slain over the years, and they just look really cool. And, it's this freaking round room, which is gonna get used later in grand fashion.
Yeah. It's just a great setup, and you get the introduction to all these legendary monster killers that are in line to inherit the Bloodstone. And that's what makes this interesting, because they're all kind of standoffish to each other. They're all trying to be all tough looking and throwing shade at each other.
This reminded me of Amplify. Have you seen The Beast Must Die from the 70s?
Oh yeah.
It felt like that, where if you guys don't know that movie, basically they get invited to a house, all these people, and one of them is the werewolf. You're supposed to find out in the end of the movie which one of them is the werewolf. You find a little faster in this one, but it had that feel to me, that same kind of plot setup.
Yeah. Not a great movie, but but it's interesting. It could be a good movie. I'll give you that. The concept is good. So, but yeah, I mean, that's one that, that's not a bad idea. Somebody could rerun with that. Uh-oh, we're moving rooms. Where you heading, Danny?
Danny's traveling.
Oh, you folks, I know you like to listen to podcasts, but you need to check out the video because you get to see something that is happening in real time here.
I tell you, that camera's crisp, baby. He didn't go out of focus at all.
I know.
It's I had to, because of the aforementioned nap situation. My wife was taking a nap, so I had to go into a general area. It was starting to get kind of active, so I was trying to stay muted while I wasn't talking, and then there was a silent signal of, can I use the microwave? And I was like, let me just go into the room now that Lois is done with her nap. So here I am. One thing, and I've seen Werewolf by Night 3 times now.
Wow,
One admission that I have to make. Yeah, I watched it that first time, and then I watched it a second time right after I talked to you. I got Lois to watch it with me, and then I watched it this morning to kind of refresh. I don't know what any of those hunters' names are, except the bearded guy introduces himself.
Yeah,
and I immediately forgot the name. So I mean, they're cool. It was hard for me to come up with my favorite because I couldn't even name them. I can't even. I mentioned that one character by her actress's name because I don't remember her name. It's kind of an in out thing. The story comes together so quick, and that's kind of the charm of it. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't try too hard to give you a backstory on everybody. I don't think some of those people were introduced by name.
No time for the old in and out, darling. Just here to read a meter.
But yeah, you had Elsa Bloodstone, which the whole
Right.
idea of her being there is this is her birthright. So because her father's dead now, so this is mine. But the word Bloodstone, maybe the guys gonna watch a subspecies movie. I was kind of disappointed in that sense. But I digress. But yeah, that's the whole through this movie that she's here just to win the prize, to best her whatever opponents. But one guy has had more track kills than anybody else by far, so he's ready to fuck some shit up. But that was he's ready. Short phrase,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's of course again the bragging rights, everything going on, and then how about you were talking about the widow? What do you got? What is that? Oh, it's Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead.
Trumps everything. If he was in this movie, it'd be over. I mean,
Yeah. Well, hey, what if they went to do the hunt for the Bloodstone, and the Bloodstone was attached to Pumpkinhead?
right? Yeah, that'd been a bad situation.
and then Lance Henriksen shows up as his character from Quick and the Dead in full
Ace
regalia.
Hanlon.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, the widow, her whole performance when she's like hunching over on the casket. Did you
Oh my
notice on the
God.
back of the casket says "this end up"?
I noticed that this last time too, that it said that. And what about that whole thing? What about the
Wow.
turning the key to turn him into Zoltar there?
When I die, I'm gonna get me a shaman. I'm just gonna wake up randomly, just say, "Hey, didn't see that coming, did you?"
Wow. So yeah, he gives the whole story of what's gonna happen from the dead. They basically made a robotic version with his corpse for him to tell the story of what they have to do in order to win the Bloodstone. And that sets the wheels in motion. From there, you kick into gear, right? They basically draw straws to see who goes into this area first.
Yeah.
The Bloodstone has been attached to a creature that they have to go and slay, and whoever kills it, and whoever's the last to survive, becomes the new Bloodstone.
Yeah, and
And
the hunters are already hunted. And I like the hunters though. They all give, without it having too much, they all give kind of like there's the one guy who's like, well, what about her? Why does she get to hunt? We've all earned our place here.
right. And, again, the bragging rights. You've got the bearded guys like, I've got, was it 52, 53 kills?
57 kills.
57.
That's what I was gonna say. I think you're only introduced to them by their kill count.
Right.
I mean, it's like, she walks through and touches them as 57 kills and 32 kills, and or I think 27 kills is that the guy who said, we earned our right, that guy.
Yeah.
But really, I guess that's how they're introduced, because that's the most important fact about them.
And again, this is that thing that we love in these movies. It goes right back to Mean Guns, right? Yeah. So you got David Bowie dude, you got bearded dude, you got Kung Fu dude,
Right?
You got Blade over there.
Yeah, he definitely had some Blade vibes.
to tell you the truth, the fact that they're there and most of them know each other's reputations and what they can do, and this is not told saying, "Hey, remember that time I killed that vampire in Morocco," or some stuff like that. It would really slow down the pacing of an already greatly paced, 53 minutes of what you got here.
Right. But yeah, they draw straws. They've got the beast confined in a certain area, and all the hunters are going there one by one. And the guy that we're most associated with goes in first, and he's sneaking around. And then every time you hear, how about that tuba with the flames on it?
I was about to say, are we not going to address the tuba? Like as he walks in, it's like, oh well, and you also get accompanied by a tubist with fire coming out of the tuba. Like, what is that? Is that a reference I should get? Because that was amazing, but really random.
I love it because the sound is more like an alarm of the next one is coming, but you literally have a guy blowing a tuba that makes the sound. That is such an old school 40s type mentality of having somebody there to signify. I love it.
It's like, hey, the guy with the flute isn't good enough. Maybe I got
Right.
that flaming tuba, you know.
I mean,
Somebody
if
call,
it had
somebody,
been somebody with a flute, it'd been a different movie, man. It would be
One flaming
legend.
tuba coming up.
somebody call that guitar player from the desert so you can like
Yes.
to,
Mad Max. So yeah, man. And then as this goes on, they when the fighters or the monster killers confront each other, they're supposed to battle. But the problem is our hero that we're walking with runs into the daughter of Bloodstone, and he said, it's best if we just go our separate ways and pretend this never happened. So you already know something's going on, because when they had the meeting before of how many kills they had, he claimed to have over 100, and they're like, really? And he's like, yeah.
I mean, and watching it for the second time, you know, of course, the first time, you know, there's something up with him from
Yeah.
the second you see him, but like, you're like, of course he doesn't belong here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, he's over here.
He's out of place. But his goal with all of this is to find the creature and get the creature out of there before any harm comes to it, because he's friends with it, who happens to be Man-Thing.
Yeah.
So, of course, I had to explain Man-Thing to Becky. I was like, well, you know, Swamp Thing, meet Man-Thing.
Yeah.
which of my favorite things about him is, you know, and that's the fact that we see Man-Thing in a production, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Man-Thing, aka Ted, because he tells you, go look for Ted.
Go look for Ted.
But the fact that there's a guy in a suit for the most part, well, I love about that. If you know the behind the scenes stuff,
Yeah,
with some CG thrown in for effect, obviously, but mostly a guy in a suit, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Always better. The combination of the effects to me is just always a better sell for everything than just pure CGI. But
well, you know, if they had CGI, they'd be trying too hard to make, you know, make him move, you know, make the plants like creep around him, all this stuff they can do to kind of hide the fact that there's that uncanny valley, even with a monster, you know.
Yeah.
And since they didn't do that, and you got a cool looking monster walking around.
It works great. I mean, I think in my mind, they captured exactly Man-Thing. And wow, I mean, I was really impressed with that. But yeah, he ends up finding him and saying, look, I'm going to try my best to find a way to get you out of here. And then I'll get out and we'll just split.
Right.
But, you know, things get a little more confusing, and, you know, I forgot what I was going to say.
What about Elsa killing that dude with his own arm?
Man, just overall, the fight scenes in this thing are awesome.
Yeah. I mean, dude sticks his arm out, like he's shooting at her, and he sticks his arm out from behind the door, and she chops it off with the bearded dude's axe, and then they get to fighting, and she finds his arm in a thing and shoots him in the head with it. You know, it's good stuff. I mean,
you get the battle royal Hunger Games idea of there's going to be random weapons laying out there. You find them and you use them. And this dude found this cool arm arrow launcher. I mean, it's basically a little crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And wow, who wouldn't want that, right?
Well, you know, he got it.
He sure did, but not for long. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
So what about the crypt with like the marquee signs, like you're at the Bijou, you know, they have everybody's name and their birth and their death. And it's backlit. So, you know, she's in the crypt. She ends up locked in the crypt with Jack. We won't get into why. Because I think I missed the first time. I was like, when did they get locked in there?
Right.
Well, you know, because they have to talk or whatever. But like, you know, they've got these cool, you know, sepulchers. They've got these you know, slabs, and on each one of them is like the name of the hunter that's buried there, and it's got their birth and death, and it's all like, you know, it's like the marquee at the Burger King, you know, they got the letters on it, you know, that you can kind of remove or put on there, and it's got a light behind it. It's almost nouveau looking, you know, it looks like something you'd see in Dark City, not really something you'd see in this old manor lodge, which kind of throws it in like, what time period is it? It's obviously contemporary, but it seems like it should be medieval, or, you know.
Yeah. I mean, just the weapons in general, when you look at them, you're like, shouldn't be of our time, right?
We find out later there's magic involved in the bloodstone, and she
Right.
can just like blast on the wall. Here lies possibly you.
It's a good point.
Oh,
Well, and all the guards have like taser, like they get cattle prod sticks. So I mean, like there's something quasi futuristic about it,
Yeah.
but we'll
Yeah.
never know because they'll
Yeah.
probably never make another one.
I hope they do. I think maybe this draws enough attention. And again, the fight scenes are great, and it gets down to where the two are locked into the thing there together, and he explains the story of why he's there, why he didn't want to fight her, and he's not really a threat to her at the time, and this is where she has to go talk to Ted, and he's gonna find it. He found this little explosive to go put on a wall and try to blow it up, which is kind of a little comical, kind of Abbott and Costello kind of thing, where he throws it and it's supposed to stick and it doesn't, and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty comical. And he ends up breaking the wall down and getting Man-Thing out of there.
Right.
But the stone, they use that grappling type deal that grabs onto it and it pulls it back off and lands on the ground. And dude reaches down to touch it and it like blasts him across the floor there. And that's when they all realize, if that stone did that to you, then you're not a hunter.
Then you're a monster.
You're a monster. Yeah.
So I mean, so we could go through plot by plot point, but like I said, it's a short movie.
Yeah.
53 minutes. It's got some high points. I mean, it's well done. The characters are interesting. It's got a lot of comedy in it.
Right.
The effects are great. I'm not wrapping it up. I'm just saying like we're missing plot points here and there because we're really just kind of talking about the things we like.
Well, and we don't want to give too much away, but obviously it's in the title. Guess what? He's a werewolf, y'all.
Only at night.
Only at night, though.
Only at night.
So, but I think you just made a good point. So, Gary, what's your selling point of this? What's your big takeaway of this show?
Well, fortunately, it's called Werewolf by Night. You do get a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks kind of like a hairy, agile night crawler type werewolf. He's slim. He doesn't get like all bulbous. He's kind of stays the same size. But Man-Thing is the selling point for me for this, and it's fortunate and unfortunate because this is called Werewolf by Night. But you love Man-Thing to death. He's like this Groot, this Andre the Giant Brute Squad character that you gotta love. That's there to protect our man, who has the wolf forced out of him through magic, because he was just kicking ass all on his own.
Right.
And I just love the relationship. That's my biggest takeaway is the relationship between those two.
Sure.
Because we've seen it a bunch of times, but you always love the man and monster thing. And I don't want to call Chewie a monster, but it goes way back to Star Wars. Han and Chewie.
Absolutely.
He can understand what Man-Thing is saying. I don't think anybody else does, but he knows what he's saying. Like Han and Chewie. That's
right. I mean, that's man, a great point. I mean, we've never got to really see Man-Thing in any kind of action besides the comic. So to see him use his abilities, dude, when he picks up the widow and kind of, puts a stop to things.
Jacks her stuff up, brother.
Pretty dang awesome. Pretty dang awesome. So, all right, Danny, what's your takeaway with this? What do you think's your big selling point on this?
I'm going to stick with there's so many cool things in this, and it's such a tight package, but I'm going to stick with the widow.
Yeah.
Her performance is over the top. She becomes kind of the main villain by the end. There's no way to like her. She hates everybody that you end up liking, and she's appalled that you would save Man-Thing, and she's ready to slay her I guess stepdaughter and the Wolfman that you end up liking. But she does such a great job of just being over the top, and I've been a fan of her since, like I said, in Frasier she played his agent, and she was over the top in that too. She would do anything to get him the next part, including like she'd go out on a ledge and pretend she was going to jump so that he could talk her down so that he could negotiate a better price at the radio station, because she was crazy. and she brings that energy to this as well. And I think that, just she's the one that carries this whole thing through from beginning to end until she gets, magmatized.
You gotta have the epitome of the evil in the group,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, for
Steven
me,
Tyler.
Steven Tyler. For me, I mean, we didn't talk. I mean, we said the action scenes are awesome. The fight scenes are incredible. It's a lot grittier than most of the Marvel stuff too. I mean, you got arms
Yeah.
being chopped off and all kinds of stuff here. It's a little on the gruesome side in some points. So for Marvel, I was really surprised.
And that's kind of funny because they were light on the effects.
Yeah.
But heavier on the gore, I guess. Like, and it wasn't like gore. It wasn't extended, but it was a lot
Right.
of amputations
Right.
but then when they had a chance to show a werewolf transformation, they did it in the shadow.
In shadow. I mean,
which is so good.
Yes, and that's my selling point for this. And it may upset people, I don't know. Because I do love The Howling. I do love Dog Soldiers. I do love American Werewolf in London. But when I think of a werewolf or a wolfman,
The Wolfman.
this is what I want. He is exactly what I want because it's not some CGI'd, rampage looking big 14 times his own size and a pair of jeans werewolf with a long snout, kind of like the picture behind me right here I've got. It doesn't look like that. He don't look anything like that. He looks like a dude who's turned into part wolf, and I love the fact that he's small, agile, obviously powerful because he breaks through those bars. He's jumping from one side of the ceiling to the other. This is what I want in a werewolf.
And what about that? The jumping where he's just like,
yeah, yeah.
It's I don't want to say hokey. It's just campy.
Yeah,
it's the right kind of camp.
Right.
It's Thunderdome out of Thunderdome, see, because he was in Thunderdome.
He was in like the bird cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the bird cage, but they needed that for Howard the Duck.
Yeah. I've always been more pulled to the werewolves that still have a lot of human features. And again, it's more of a wolfman is what we normally, call it to that point. But, I think about Oliver Reed, Curse of the Werewolf. To me, that was always like the ideal scary looking wolfman to me.
I know it's a dirty word, but the Wolfman remake with Benicio del Toro kind of reminded me of that.
Sure.
The way they kept the features minimal, but
yep.
Wolf-like.
Yep.
One of my favorite things about that scene where he transforms is, they show the shadow of what's happening. So there's anything gruesome there. But the fact that the widow is so stupid to stand so close to his cage when she knows what he's going to become. Like, oh, she got grabbed. Oh man, he's got me.
Right. And he's so much more than just a wolf man, a big, strong, powerful beast. I mean, he's very quick, very agile, filled with rage, almost like the Hulk. Yeah. And I mean, that's what makes it work for me. It's the Hulk.
Well,
really.
And to Gary's point about the cage, she had hubris to stand within arm's reach of that cage, those cage bars. That was just foolishness. But I think, her whole thing about sticking him in there, the cage with Elsa, he thought, she thought, I'm going to watch him tear her to pieces. And obviously he's going to get her first because they're caged up together. And, he had done the whole, I'm going to transform. I'm going to get a smell of you. And starts like sniffing her hair and sniffing her.
That quick touch was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to remember you. She's like, does this work? He said, it's worked once.
Yeah. I mean, but I totally think that, she was leaning in to watch her stepdaughter get in the shredder. But, again, it was a dumb move.
Yeah.
He had a stipper because you couldn't pee on her in a Marvel film, Marcus territory.
Yeah, kind of puts into that. So yeah, man. To me, I just find this a necessary watch. If you like all the Marvel stuff, I think it's a definite given. If you're a horror fan, especially if the original trilogy, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, this really gives you a nice throwback to that. But then it gives you so much more and introductions to more characters. I'm sold on it, man. I hope that they continue with this. What say you, Gary?
Oh hell yes, especially the ending you get to where evil is vanquished. Well, the wicked who's opposing them because she wants to kill everybody apparently is vanquished, and you get this nice ending of our werewolf and man thing just chilling, like so like waiting for their next adventure or something.
Right.
Just having a spot of tea, outside, and he's cold because he's naked, of course. He lost his clothes, but
Right.
it
Listening to
just
Over the Rainbow too on the record
over
player.
the rainbow. That was a nice touch. I
Yeah.
loved when you go again. If you've seen Wizard of Oz, it's they go from black and white to color.
Right.
Right.
It does it here, with new technology, and it felt totally organic.
Yeah.
I thought it was wonderful. When she has the bloodstone,
Yep.
now she sees the world in a whole different light, and it goes to color.
Yeah.
You get that great ending of our heroes, our buddies, our Han and Chewie, just waiting to leave and go on our next adventure.
Yeah.
He brings him that little cup of coffee in his giant man thing hand.
So good, so good.
Yeah, man.
I agree. I really like the whole the whole Conan ending. She sits back in the leather armchair and they go, "Well, I'm here to serve, ma'am." It's like, I better start cleaning all this crap up, and then she leans back because now she's the Lord of the Manor with the Bloodstone, which up until now has been the only thing in color, which was also a cool touch.
Right.
Everything else is black and white except the Bloodstone that shines crimson in all of its scenes. It's a sweet little detail. It's not like it's something you wouldn't notice, but it's a cool set piece.
So I'm gonna say this is a bona fide Hail Ming recommendation. Then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. I think it needs to carry on, and I hope they do. I've been kind of disappointed in the run of the latter Marvel shows here lately. I did like Moon Knight, but I don't know, the rest of them just kind of falling short for me. So this really made me kind of go, So
I think there's just a fatigue with
Sure.
with superheroes. It was a selling point for movies for so long that
Yep.
they could do so much with it now, and this was a happy departure from that because it was it had enough things different about it that it seemed fresh.
Yeah, I do like them introducing these characters that are lesser known and bringing them into the light of everybody. So go ahead, Gary.
I mean, She-Hulk done it brilliantly. If you haven't watched She-Hulk, I recommend anybody to watch it, even if you're not a She-Hulk fan. I mean,
love it.
It takes every aspect of this is what's wrong with the Marvel Universe to the point of making Kevin Feige a robot who comes up with scenarios. Spoiler. It's wonderful because it turns the superhero world on its head, kind of like The Boys does, but The Boys does it with a lot more violent blood and gusto.
Yep.
Right.
And you can watch The Boys too. It's spectacular.
Yeah, The Boys is good.
But yeah, I love the way it does that. I love the way this does its own thing, and hope for maybe not a full-on series, maybe like a quarterly thing.
Mhm.
Like every quarter you'll get a new Werewolf by Night thing.
Be great.
It was a special presentation, so there's no expectation to have to continue it, but they could stick it in there somewhere.
You can
Now that
stick
they
it.
postponed Blade.
Right. Yeah. So,
I mean,
hey, and being we're talking about The Boys and She-Hulk and all that, I have to trump you with Peacemaker.
Peacemaker's good. Peacemaker's real good.
It's
I've
been
rewatched it
great.
a few times.
That's been my favorite.
If you have Spotify, James Gunn has curated the Peacemaker playlist. I listen to it constantly at work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I think that's going to kind of be it. Would you had something else there?
Oh, I was just going to agree, and I appreciate you also liking She-Hulk. I mean, I don't know. She-Hulk did what She-Hulk does in the comic, and I did actually collect She-Hulk for a pretty long stint, and that's what it did. Was it broke the fourth wall to make fun of everything that was going on in the Marvel universe around it, and that's what they did with the show. And I'm not going to say people just didn't get it. If people didn't like it, they didn't want to watch a sitcom about She-Hulk, and I get that.
And
But they don't need to bag on it either, because if it isn't for you, that doesn't mean it isn't for somebody else.
And Daredevil gets slut shamed, which is I love Daredevil. he's tattooed on my arm right there, but he gets slut shamed. He takes the walk of with his shoes off, and it's hilarious. Yo.
All right, folks, I think that's going to be it for this one. So do yourself a favor. Go to Disney or wherever you're pirating your movies and check out Werewolf by Night. I'm not supposed to say that, am I? Oh, well. Anyways. Wherever your Disney films are found.
That's right. Shell, you're $6.99 for Disney Plus, or don't.
Right.
Or maybe get a free trial. Who knows?
Maybe. Or if you have somebody else's password, that always works out handy too.
Danny's
is XY4. No. No. Man, Gary, as always great to have you on. Is this first time we've had you on Hail Ming or no? We've had you on before, haven't we?
Before, probably, yeah.
Long time ago, probably.
As long as I don't have to edit, I just gotta be there. I'll be on wherever you guys want me to be on.
It's that thing where we talk to each other a lot pretty normally, so it's hard to know whose show has been on whose and all that. You kind of get confused after a while, but you're always welcome, my friend. You know that. Good to have you here.
Still waiting for that remaster of Hillbilly John to come out, and we need that in our lives, y'all.
That was awesome. But yeah, go ahead and plug your stuff real quick, man.
You can find most of what I do if you go to your podcatcher under the Butcher Shop banner. That's Cine Beef Podcast, Two Drink Minimum Commentaries, Last Call Torchies, which is mine, Cameron Scott, and Lee Russell's Love Letter to Walter Hill's films.
Yeah.
We do the Arnie one next. I forget what it's called. With
Burning for Springwood.
Yeah, Burning for Springwood's up there. Whatever comes out. I've been sick like the last few weeks. I haven't been doing anything as far as editing goes. So I'm getting over the change of weather BS. So look for more content for spooky season and beyond. Supposed to have Kate and Matt from Britain and the Eternal Sunshine of the Not So Spotless Mind. I got it right, y'all.
Right. Yeah.
To watch something so stupidly American that I told them this is what you're gonna watch, and I want to hear you guys talk about it. But it's wonderful. It's always fun to do this with you guys and do it in general. It's wonderful therapy.
He likes doing it.
I likes doing it, man.
I wouldn't have thought that you'd been sick. You look good.
I just like sinus stuff. It comes and goes.
I told Rick I'm fine until we start recording, and then my nose starts itching like crazy. So I'm like, and people think I'm on cocaine, I guess. Except I'm not getting enough done to be on cocaine. That's
right. Yeah, you're pretty lazy if you're on cocaine. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm lazy, either way. But yeah, on cocaine, I should be getting some stuff done.
All right, for Gary, myself, and Mr. Danny B. Y'all have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Happy Halloween.